today we will have a good, important meeting with the development ministers. The Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations will join us, Amina Mohamed, to take a certain number of important decisions from the European Union side. Share that at the end of our meeting with her. But mainly I would like to highlight the fact that the European Union stays and will continue to stay as the first partner for the United Nations, as the first humanitarian donor, as the first provider of development aid, and a strong supporter of the Sustainable Development Goals agenda, the Agenda 2030, and in general terms, in more broader terms, of the UN system and the multilateral agenda that is sometimes put into question in these recent months. For the European Union, investing in development, investing in sustainable development, investing in the fight against climate change, in human rights, is an essential part of our security and foreign policy. We see this as an investment in our own security and prosperity, and this is what we share, I believe, with the entire UN system, and this is why the European Union is and will continue to be a reliable, strong, committed partner for the entire international community on the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, on the implementation of the climate change and the Paris Agreement, and also on the peacekeeping and conflict prevention agenda of the UN. And I was very pleased to see not only Amina Mohamed joining us today, but also the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres addressing the European Parliament earlier this week, exactly with the same message of recognition of the strength of the work of the European Union in this field.
What are the most important points of the consensus on development you will adopt today, and how does it differ from the 2005 consensus?
It is a new way of looking at development that adjusts to the developments that the international agenda has had in the recent years. The world has changed, the situation in the world has changed, and we are adapting our policies to that. So we move from a traditional approach of donor-recipient to a partnership approach in which we do things with our partners to cover all different set of fields. It's not only, it's mainly still poverty elimination and reduction, but it's also covering many other fields that affect directly the living conditions of the people on the ground. And our main and privileged partner remains Africa. And this fits very well with the debate we've had with the foreign ministers earlier this week, where the president of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki, was present to discuss exactly how we managed together to implement the SDGs, looking at the governance aspects, at human rights, at rule of law, at environment, at women's rights, at the place of youth in societies. So it's not only the traditional approach to development, but it's a much broader concept that responds exactly to the philosophy of the SDGs and the Agenda 2030, looking at the complexity of the world we're facing.